Welcome to Roy Tech video tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the network configuration part 2. So if you remember, in the last video we already create the subnet of our CPU that it is going to be a Profibus net. So if you remember, this Profibus net, it is going to have the name of IO modules. So in this case, what we need to do is basically close the CPU and close everything. And now that we are working with Profibus, I can select all the modules that we are going to have with Profibus DP, because this is the subnet that we made before, remember? So as you can see right now, this option, it's already available. So right now I am just going to open it, and then I am going to select the file that it is called ET200S. And in this case, I am going to select this input module that I have in here, input module 151/1 standard. And as you can see right now, we can select a lot of things as in the hardware configuration. And I am talking about analog inputs, analog outputs, digital inputs, digital outputs, and so on. So basically, this input module, it is going to act as an extension for our digital inputs and our digital outputs, because remember that in the hardware configuration we are only going to have 11 slots. So what would happen if at the end I am going to put another digital input and another digital output? Well, at the end I am not going to have more space in the case I need to put a camera, or if I need to put another device that it is supposed to be connected to my PLC. So that's why we're going to select, as I told you before, this input module, and we are going to put it in the subnet Profibus. You're going to see that the address, it is going to start with the number 1, but in this case I want to change it to be the number 3, because remember that the slot number 2 is already being occupied by the Profibus. So I am going to leave it in number 3 and press OK. So you are going to see in here that we are going to have more slots that goes from the slot number 1 to the slot number 63. So in this case, as our rack, we can put some kind of digital inputs, digital outputs, and so on. So in this case, I need to go back to my input module and I need to select digital input. So right now, which kind of digital input I am going to work? Well, I am going to select this one because it is going to have 8 inputs and they are going to work with 24 volts. So I am going to put it in the slot number 2, and again you are going to see that the address, it is going to start with 6.0 to 6.7. Why? Because remember that in this occasion this digital input, it is only going to have 8 inputs. So the only thing that I need to do for change it, I need to make double clicking here, then go to addresses and type the input that I am going to work. So in this case, I am going to start with the address from 10.0 to 10.7, but you are going to see that the end is wrong, correct? Because it is supposed to be 10 and right now I have the value 6. So now I am going to select the button OK. And after that, remember that if I want to power on this digital input, we need to have in here a power supply. But in this case, we are not going to find it as power supply. In this case, we are going to find it as power module. So we need to go through this file in here that says power module. And in this case, I am going to work with this power module, because this power module, it is going to work with DC of 24 volts, and I need to put it in the slot number 1. And basically that's the only thing that we need to do. So for example, in this case, I am just going to make double clicking here, and I am going to change the name of this input module. So in this case, I am going to call it BK block number 10, alright? And I am going to press OK to save the changes. So now you are going to see in this part of here that this block 10, it is going to have this power module and this digital input. So I decided to call it block 10 because right now I am just going to copy this digital input and I'm going to paste it a lot of times. So in this case, this is going to have the address 11. Okay, I cannot do it because 11 is already being done. So this one I am going to delete it, sorry. And this one again will be 11, 12, 13, and 14. So basically my idea is type all the addresses with the number 10. So I am talking about 10 to 19 and then put another input module that it is going to be called block 20, and in that case I am going to type the address 20.0 to 29.7. And if you want to do the same thing, but in this case for your digital outputs, remember that the only thing that you need to do is instead of select the digital input, you need to go to the file digital output and select one of these options. So the last thing that we need to do in here is just basically save our hardware configuration, and then we can open the configure network. And now you are going to see that we are going to have two different kind of lines. One is in color red, that is the MPI, and the other one is in a color pink, that is Profibus. So in this case, into my Profibus, I am going to have connected my PLC and also my I/O module. But also you are going to see that this PLC I can connect it by Ethernet. But for today, this is it for the moment. Thank you for watching Roytech video tutorial. See you on the next video.